Unfortunately, it has been quite difficult. There's a lot we know, but there's still also a lot that we don't know that we want to try and confirm about our assumptions. So the contact that we had with our Red Cross team on the ground was on Saturday afternoon. It was a short period of time straight after the volcanic eruption and once the tsunami alert had been raised. And they were actually trying to support people move to the limited available higher ground in the capital. And really, it's ever since then we haven't been able to establish contact. So it's really a matter of sharing the snippets of information that are coming through across all of the disaster relief agencies, triangulating information, sharing information to get a better picture of what's happening on the ground.
And from that limited information, have you been able to establish how many people have been affected by the tsunami, and have there been any personal accounts shared with you?
Well, our worst case scenario is that around about 80,000 people will have been affected. And when we say affected, it could be anything from their water sources have been affected by ashfall, their home gardens or market gardens and livelihoods has been affected by that ashfall, right through to their houses and places of business might have been inundated from tsunami waves. So, you know, there's different ways that people can be affected by this disaster. So we're working on our plans around that number, but we have pre-positioned stock ready to go of essential non-food items to support around about 1,200 households in Tonga. So there is relief action happening on the ground as we speak. We do know some personal accounts, that small information that we were able to glean from our team member when we had 10 minutes. She was supporting people. There was quite a bit of confusion. People had not really expected the extent of the blast that happened on Saturday afternoon. There have been some smaller eruptions happening since November, December, but the extent of this one far surpassed those. And we certainly heard the eruption here in Fiji. It was like cannon shots or very loud thunder. And our windows and doors shook for about half an hour. So that gives you, we're about 700 kilometres away from Tonga. That gives you a little bit of an indication of the extent of the shock that people would have been feeling at that time.
It really does give a good indication. What do you predict will be some of the more immediate needs?
So the immediate need has been getting people up to higher ground from those tsunami waves. You would have seen the footage of the water inundating churches, and the waterfront in Nuku'alofa in the capital has been quite extensively damaged. So health and safety first, first aid needs, and also the air quality that people have been breathing. People have been told to stay inside and mask up for air quality. The water sources, most people in Tonga rely on rainwater for their needs, their drinking needs. So it will be about water purification and making sure people have safe drinking water. We don't want for there to be a secondary disaster of waterborne disease either. So hygiene concerns, hygiene education will be there. We've got hygiene kits to distribute to people, all those sorts of things. And also just the contact with loved ones. There's a large Tongan diaspora outside Tonga, all very keen to hear about their loved ones back in Tonga. So restoring those family links is something that Red Cross will be looking to do when we can get the communication channels up.
And so far we've heard no reports of fatalities, but that doesn't mean the danger is over just yet.
That's right. We've heard one report of a missing foreign national who has been residing in Nuku'alofa in the capital in Tonga. But we're very glad to hear that there has not been other widespread casualties as a result of the tsunami and the eruption. Again, we don't know that this is the full extent of the disaster. We're still waiting to hear more information from outer islands and the lower lying atolls that are closer to the eruption site. And we hope that some flights that went out today from Australia and New Zealand to do some surveillance will give us some of that data that we're really looking for.
And Katie, Tonga is concerned about the risk of aid deliveries potentially spreading COVID to the island, which currently is free of the virus.
It's an understandable worry that they have because they've done such a great job of being able to stay pandemic free over this last couple of years. And so you can understand that they don't want to have swap one disaster for another. So this is something that the aid agencies and governments will be working together to make sure that we can try and avoid, although it may pose complications for if we need to have additional resources and staff going into the country, it might pose some delays. But over the last couple of years, we've gotten very good at mounting disaster responses from resilient communities within the Pacific themselves, and also providing some support externally from afar. So we'll continue to do that.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. COVID has just complicated so many matters, hasn't it? Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you so much.